Hi. Well, it's lovely to
Hi.
meet you.
Lovely to meet you too.
How are you doing?
Good. You DM'd me and asked about this, right? And then I gave you Aubrey's email.
Yeah, I did. I did. I'm so grateful for the opportunity. Genuinely, I wasn't expecting that whatsoever. So thank you for helping me out here. I really
No
appreciate it, and I
problem at
appreciate you
all.
taking the time to speak to me. So,
Yep, my pleasure. I'm happy to help.
well, should we just get into it then?
Let's do it.
Perfect. So, firstly, of course, I have to mention If the World Was Ending, Grammy
hmm
nominated. That
hmm
was insane. We were all so excited about that. So, what like this year, it's obviously taken on a different meaning with everything that's going on in the world at the minute. So, what was it like for you to get that kind of recognition of a piece of your work, like your song baby, as you and Julia describe it? Like, it must have
hmm
been just amazing.
Yeah, it really, really was. You don't make music thinking about winning Grammys when you've never made music and
Yeah,
won Grammys. I don't know, maybe it was a little bit more within the realm of possibility for Julia because this is her third Grammy nomination and it's my
yeah,
first. Um, so it was certainly surreal, and it still kind of is. A little outside of my ability to really comprehend that it's happened.
yeah. I'm sure it's still sinking in. I'm sure it hasn't quite hit yet. So how did you celebrate the nomination? Because I'm sure it was quite overwhelming
We
initially.
didn't really celebrate other than we we looked at each other and we were like, holy shit. It was kind of like a lot of excitement all at once and everyone being like, what has happened? And then both of us jumping on all of these different calls and then coming back to each other and being like, how is this even real?
Yeah,
um, we we didn't do any specific celebration per se, or at least not yet. I think we're still trying to figure out exactly how to celebrate.
yeah, of course, of course. But it's just amazing. I wanted to mention that because it really was something that we're all so proud of you for. So I just wanted to say a huge congratulations for
It's
that,
yeah,
firstly.
I mean that song has been a journey for all of us. So it's an exciting way to like cap off that journey to get this kind of unbelievable validation.
Yeah, I know it's an amazing piece of recognition for definitely a song that obviously was so close to our hearts when it first came out, but I think this year specifically has really helped a lot of people through, the tough times I think we're all experiencing. So thank you for that, firstly, and secondly, I'm really proud of you for it. Oh, my internet connection's playing up, of course. Sorry about this.
No problem at all.
There we
It
go.
happens true. It happens truly all the time, and it's probably equally me.
No, honestly, the amount of times I have problems with it is it's so frustrating. So I hope it doesn't act out too much.
Where in the world are you? Remind me.
I live in Ireland, so I live in Ireland.
Cool.
Yeah. So I was planning to come to the Hold It Together tour, which obviously Corona again messed up. Um, but that leads on to
Ruined.
another one of my questions was about, so for you, being a performer is one of the main aspects of the career. Is there a kind of a particular feeling that you get when you're playing a live show, or can you describe it in a color?
Is, did it come back? Are we back?
Yeah, there we go, we're back.
Okay.
Perfect.
You asked about if performing felt like any specific color.
Yeah.
Um, and truth is, I think that's a cool question, and I think every performance feels like a little bit of a different color.
Ooh, yeah.
Um, and that's what I miss most about performing is just the spontaneity of it,
Yeah.
the mystery of it. How it can be a little bit different every night, and the kind of show I like to put on isn't the same thing every show. I
Yeah.
like to let things play out a little bit in the unknown.
Yeah.
Change the set list a bit every night depending on the mood I'm in,
I think that's
or
I think that's really cool though. I love that aspect about your shows. I think it's so cool to have a different sort of experience, I suppose, every night, just to change it up and see what kind of the mood takes you to.
Yeah, occasionally I take it a little bit too far, and I'll like, something will catch my mind in the middle of a song, and I'll stop mid-song and just like start talking shit, which I should not do. But when we start performing again, it could go one of two ways. I'll either be like so excited to perform again that I'll just be locked in and like super like proper and like about, making everything precise, or I'll be like so deprived of performing that I'm just going to be overdoing everything and talking way too much and rambling on and having like random conversations with fans in between songs. We shall see.
Yeah, I know. I'm so excited for when the Hold It Together tour is eventually able to take place, which might obviously include some songs off the album by the time it's safe to perform again. Have you thought, is there anything that you can tell us about kind of the visuals of the next tour, or kind of whether we can see the new album being incorporated into the set list?
Yeah, I mean, I think the way the timing will work out is we probably won't ever get a Hold It Together tour, which is bittersweet. But the reason being, I think before touring happens, the album will come out. And, originally I had thought that the album would include the EP.
Yeah.
That's like kind of a traditional way to go about it. You put out an EP and it's like a little piece of the album.
Yeah.
And then, thank you. And then when the album comes out, it's got like the EP on it and then a bunch more stuff.
Yeah.
I haven't done that.
Okay.
Because I wrote too many songs I liked.
Yeah. And we want to hear all of the new ones.
Exactly.
Bless you.
Thank you. I just woke up from a nap, so those are post-nap sneezes.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, I mean, that's a good thing, because I guess the show's just going to have to be kind of long.
Yeah.
Because I'll want to play the EP and the album.
Yeah.
That's the last one. It always comes in threes.
Best of three, exactly.
Yeah.
That's the way it always happens. No, that sounds really good. It'll be definitely exciting to hear kind of the growth as well from Hold It Together to the upcoming era, and see kind of the comparison, I suppose, of what the old set list could have been with all the new songs coming out.
Sure.
Exciting.
I mean, we just kind of finalized the track list on the album.
Yeah.
And you will only know 2 of the songs.
Wow.
Well, three if you count Love You Logic, because you heard me do that at the
yeah.
Like only 2 of them are currently out, which means there'll be 13 new songs.
That's so exciting. That's really exciting. And
very exciting.
Like, one of the things, so obviously there are the 3 a.m. sobbing songs, and the home team, we all love a good song to cry to. Can we expect a lot more of those, or kind of, is there more love or heartbreak, or?
Well, so this song, I've probably written it over the last 3.5, 4 years.
Yeah.
So I've only been in love for the last 1.5 years.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of songs like pre-Julia in my life.
Yeah.
So those songs are definitely a different tone.
Yeah, 100%.
And but I think it's kind of fun, like how mixed in, songs I've written in the last 1.5 years are with songs I wrote before then, because there's just like A Little Bit Yours. Like there's a lot of songs from like the A Little Bit Yours era.
Yeah.
On the album. And I talked about this with A Little Bit Yours, how it was fun to be singing a song that was so devastated while being in love, because it just felt like a really nice metaphor for how it gets better in ways you don't expect.
Yeah. And
I think the album does that too, and it just covers it from a lot more angles.
Yeah. That I think that's really like smart the way it'll happen though, because we'll be able to see kind of, like you said, the Little Bit Yours era to kind of more happy love side of things, which is really exciting to see that kind of growth, I think. And it'll be really, we're all so excited to hear what you've come up with.
I'm so excited for y'all to hear the album. it's the most in-depth representation of the way I write and the music I love that I've ever done. I mean, by far. Hold It Together was 6 songs.
Yeah.
You know,
And this is an album. It's a whole album, which is, it sounds surreal.
And I've really been like so focused on not just it being a collection of songs, but like really how it all weaves together, and how, you know, when we were working on it over the last week, every day we would listen to the thing top to bottom, just to kind of see, you know, what kind of emotional place you're in on track 5, and then how you make that emotional transition to track 6. And like, it feels like, you know, really like plotting together, you know, like coursing out like a 15-course meal.
Yeah. Wow.
Like, you know, what taste do you want to have in your mouth when you try the next thing? Like,
oh, I love that.
Which was a really fun creative challenge, and we changed it so many times, and probably likely will change it more times. It feels good right now, but what, you know, who knows? Knowing myself, it'll probably take on a lot more versions before it finally comes out.
I'm sure that, I think that's the really exciting thing though about an album, is it gives you more time to take us all through an experience almost that kind of, I don't know, I just think the set list is such a big part of an album and the journey that not just you but all of us go through when listening to it. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what you've come up with.
Thanks.
So that's another question, because obviously, again, like I said, love is going to be a part of this album. Is there, like, are there 3 words that describe the feeling of love for you?
The 3 words that describe the feeling of love. I mean, I think you could argue that the album is thousands of words attempting to describe the feeling of love. Because at the end of the day, I think that's, you know, the majority of art is probably just a failed attempt at summarizing what it feels like to love a person, or lose love with a person, or struggle through love with the person. It's just, it's the biggest feeling that we have as humans, in my opinion. And so often art is just trying to resemble it in some way or another. So can I come up with 3 words? Probably not, because I'm still trying to come up with, like, I'm writing albums to try and answer that question.
I think that's a really good answer. I like that. So then, going back to the aspect of live performances, we saw you obviously play the Troubadour over lockdown, and it must have just been insane to get another live show happening. What was the experience like of playing the Troubadour for you?
You know, I thought it was going to be odd, because I was going to be trying to simulate this energy that you get organically when you have, you know, 500 people screaming at you. It's just like the adrenaline you get from being in a room with an audience is very hard to imitate in your own head.
Of course.
But there were still people there. They were just people holding cameras, but people nonetheless. So I tried to, like, as much as I can, perform for the 10 people who were there filming it. Which helped. But, you know, there's so much of, like, what makes a performance such a special, mystical experience is all of those feelings that come up that you cannot simulate in any other way. Like, it's that one person who yells out that one, like, silly thing between the song that leads you to say something stupid, that leads people to laugh, that leads to this, like, you know, unique moment that only happened at that one show. By the way, the show in Dublin with Len and Stella was one of my favorite shows ever.
It looked insane. I was like, I really wanted to go to that, and it was the one date that I just couldn't make. So I'm so excited for the day that we can all be back in, you know, Dublin with all of the chat, and just, it'll be incredible.
And hopefully by the time that tour happens again, there'll be enough of us to play that same venue again. That would
be such a cool experience, because it is such an amazing venue. Like, I've been to so many concerts there, and it's just it's such an incredible atmosphere always. Dublin never fails to let the artist down. It's amazing.
Yeah, I loved it there. I cannot wait.
Yeah, and get pints of Guinness too, of course.
Mm-hmm.
So the next thing I wanted to talk to you about was obviously this year as well. Despite all of the chaos, it's been a huge year of growth, I'm sure, for you, not only as a person but as an artist. Is there any kind of piece of advice that, looking back on everything you've achieved from now since you were 16, that you'd offer your 16-year-old self?
Yeah, don't worry too much about acne. It matters way less than you think it does. That was something 16-year-old me really needed to hear, because he was tripped up about pimples, like just could not stop tripping about pimples. It was really overwhelming. And I hesitate to give him too much advice because I really like what my life became. And you know, me at 16, 17, 18, like moving to Los Angeles, the kind of beginning of my adult life, I think one of my greatest skills was I always looked at things a little bit more like an adventure than a struggle. So like moving to Los Angeles and sleeping in my car, and like, you know, just like not making it in music at first at all, and having the first shit that I make like never come out. Like it always felt a little bit more like an adventure than like shit was going horribly wrong. Now, I recognize there are a lot of blessings in my life and a lot of privileges in my life that allowed me to have that mentality. I knew that was only so far I could fall, because, you know, worst case scenario, I'd move back to Toronto and had, you know, a really loving family that was going to have my back. So that did allow a certain amount of, you know, safety net in risk. But with that, like, I really, to this day, have never gotten more joy than out of songs. They, like, songs and people are my favorite thing in the world. It sounds broad, but it really is, like, that's where my joy comes from, songs and people. So as long as I had those things around me, I was making songs and I was with people I loved, like, everything else seemed fine. And it's true now. Like, you know, now that shit's going a little bit better and there are more people who care about my music, which is awesome. But it's still, at the end of the day, like, the only thing that makes a good day is if there were good songs and good people.
I really like that answer, because I feel like that resonates with a lot of us as well, because I feel like music is such a powerful thing, and you'll connect and create so many connections with people. So I really like that answer.
And like, I wouldn't tell my 16-year-old self how to not fuck up, and he fucked up a lot. But the truth is, it was those fuck ups that like were a big part of leading me to the life that I wanted. You know,
I think that's good.
You can't avoid fucking up. You just have to, like, you know, find a way to have it feel like an adventure and not, you know, the worst thing that's ever happened.
Take those all as part of the kind of the growth.
Exactly.
I like that. And then another thing, kind of connected to like the messages and things you've taken away from your experiences, in terms of the upcoming album, is there a particular message that you're able to share with us that you think you'd like us to take away from the album, I suppose?
You know, I've always sort of thought about my music as something I'd like you to hear and feel something about yourself, rather than hear and feel something about me. I think if when you're listening to the songs, you're thinking about me, I've probably not done a very good job. But if you listen to the songs and you think about someone in your life or some situation in your life, it becomes personal. That's when I think art becomes great, when an artist is kind of out of the way and just letting someone have an experience of their own life that is a little bit deepened by the piece of art that you have provided them.
Yeah, I think, no, I really agree with that, because I feel like you said, it is such a personal experience. If you hear a specific song or a lyric even that resonates really closely with you, it can have such an impact on kind of your day-to-day life. So I think that's a really good message to take away from the album.
Yeah.
Because your songwriting definitely is something that resonates obviously really closely to all of us in the home team. And that's another question actually. Has there ever been any specific lyric or song that you've written that you've almost not put out because it's felt too personal, too much of a piece of you to share to the world? Does that make sense?
I think if it doesn't feel that way, it's probably not personal enough. I
Yeah,
think I think the fear that something has a little too much of you in it is a good barometer of if it has enough of you in it.
yeah, yeah. Fair enough. Yeah, that's good.
I mean,
Um,
I didn't get into music to be mysterious.
yeah,
I got into it to be honest. And so often like the best songs and the ones that I know have to come out are the ones that have enough of me in it to feel a little uncomfortable.
mm, yeah. And I feel like that's why so much of your music has had that connection with a lot of us, is because there is so much of you invested in there, with feelings that are so relatable but aren't necessarily discussed because of kind of stigmas around it and that kind of thing. I feel like that's why it connects so deeply with a lot of us.
Yeah. I mean, the album does that on a level that is beyond anything I've done up to this point.
Okay.
Um, and I think that's exactly it. It's like what makes songs mean the most to me is when they're accessing a feeling that I have trouble accessing on my own.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's accessing it in the songs is kind of that, like it becomes a little bit of a vessel for people to sit with those songs and then get to those parts of themselves.
Yeah.
I think we all want to, but don't always know how to every day. I mean, I
Yeah.
certainly don't always know how to without the songs.
Yeah. Yeah. That must be a really good way to kind of express day to
Yeah,
day feelings.
definitely.
So, oh, that's another one that, so the astronaut, Dave the astronaut.
Mm.
I found that home team live, so kind of powerful, and there were so many messages, just complete wisdom that David was able to speak. Was there a particular message from that interview with him that resonated particularly closely to you, or?
And he really did drop a lot of he dropped a lot of knowledge in that interview.
Yeah,
Um, I mean, I'm trying to think. Like he said so many things. What
yeah,
was it that stuck with me the most? Um, I mean, when he talked about like it resonated with me, like when he talked about the challenge of, you know, staying close to his wife and kids
yeah,
while like doing something that so few people will ever get to do.
yeah,
And I think just like the message in that being that like, no matter how grandiose or exciting or rare your life becomes,
yeah,
you know, the people you love are always going to be at the center of your world,
yeah,
no matter what.
yeah,
And knowing how to make that balance work is like going to be your superpower no matter what it is you do.
yeah, definitely. That, I mean, the home team live that week was so full of wisdom, and just, it was such a kind of inspirational chat. I think a lot of us took really kind of powerful messages away from that. So
Yeah, I mean, so many of my friends who I talked to about that interview beforehand, who were huge dorks, were like, ask him about life on Europa, ask him about water on the moon. And I'm like,
yeah.
I think I'm gonna ask him about his feelings.
Yeah, no, I thought that was really smart, because obviously there were so many questions that, you know, you could have asked in relations to those typical kind of space questions, I suppose, but asking more so about the emotional side of it, which obviously has to be such a significant part, because
Mhm.
they're going on crazy adventures. I thought that was a really interesting take on it. So I really enjoyed that one and found it
Thanks.
really helpful.
I figure scientists can ask him about science, and songwriters should ask him about his feelings.
Yeah. So then, in relations to Christmas, because it is fast approaching, obviously there has been the rumored Christmas song, and I don't know how much I'm allowed to ask about this, but can you tell us anything about that, or whether it will potentially happen, or whether, you know?
Yeah, it comes out tomorrow. And I don't think we've shared that with anyone yet, so that's an exclusive for this interview.
Damn, I was not expecting that. Wow.
Yeah, comes out tomorrow. You're the first to know about it.
That's so exciting. Oh, I can't wait to hear that. That'll be amazing. That'll be a perfect start to the Christmas season. Oh my goodness. That is a complete and utter exclusive. That's really exciting.
I think it's really a beautiful song. It's for the most part just Julia, myself, and the piano, and I really love it. I think it's a special one.
Yeah. Oh, everyone's going to be so excited to listen to that, because it's just, I think there's something so powerful about just stripping it right back to the piano, and both of your voices complement each other so incredibly. So that'll be an amazing. Oh, I'm really excited for that. I can't wait to listen.
So excited for it too.
So I was thinking now, I got some questions from the home team. So I was thinking we could do just a quick fire, because I don't want to take up too much more of the time, but I was thinking we could do a quick fire home team.
Let's do it.
Okay, perfect. So question number 1 comes from Ken's, and she was asking, is there a song that isn't one of yours that you think sums you up best? I feel like that's such a hard question.
What's the song that the Tin Man sings in Wizard of Oz?
Oh, I know the one you mean.
The Scarecrow sings about his brain. The lion sings about wanting courage. And the Tin Man sings about wanting a heart.
That's a really.
But I don't remember the song. But that's the first one that comes to mind.
That's gonna irritate me, but I'll find it out.
The Tin Man song.
Yeah, that works. And then Joey asked, this is a really interesting question, but how would you define art? Like, it's so broad, but how would you define it if you could?
I think it's just trying to sum up being a person in all the ways in between what we're usually able to sum up about being a person.
Yeah, that works. And then Caitlin asked, whilst writing the album, was there any particular lesson you learned, or has it been more noticeable to kind of see the growth you've gone through?
Yeah, I think writing the album has been a little bit of a lesson in knowing I can't choose my feelings. I can just just represent them. If I try and choose them, the songs get less interesting. If I try and just mirror them, then it feels a lot more honest.
I like that. And then Babs was asking, is there one person in particular who you feel has had a huge impact on your work or kind of your growth as an artist?
I mean, Julia's at the top of that list.
Yeah. That I had a feeling that might be the answer.
It's an obvious but true answer.
Yeah. Aubrey's just entering the waiting room, so I'll admit her quickly. And then Lisa was asking, this is a really interesting question, what's still on your bucket list that you'd like to achieve?
Oh, like thousands of things. I'd like to tour all over the world. I'd like to touch my toes. I'd like to be on Celebrity Jeopardy. I'd like to be in the NBA Celebrity All-Star Game. I'd like to learn Spanish. I would like to have a meal on every continent.
Ooh, that's fun.
There's a lot. There's a lot on the bucket list.
That's I mean, a Grammy nomination has to be one of the top ones on that.
Sure, that's there. I want to hand glide. That would be cool.
Yeah. That would be a really cool experience, actually. Oh, this is a good one from Claudia. Would you rather only be able to write music but never perform it again, or never make music again but just be able to perform and tour for the rest of your life?
I can just perform all the songs I've already done.
Yeah.
I'd probably just want to keep writing.
Yeah, fair enough.
But because I can record it, right, and put it out, I just can't play.
Yeah, that's a sneaky loophole. I like that.
I would be sad, but I think I'd rather keep creating than keep presenting.
Yeah, I like that answer. And I feel like that's a really good note to finish on. So thank you so much for
You're
your
so
time.
welcome.
And
Thanks for being such a, you know, such a dedicated and wonderful part of the home team,
thank you.
and I wish you the very, very best of luck in
Thank
your
you.
pursuits of journalism. And if there's anything we can do on our side to help, just let us know.
That means a lot. Thank you so much for this opportunity. It really has been so great to get to speak to you. So thank you again.
You're so welcome.
And yeah, I'm sure I will speak to you soon.
Yeah.
And best of luck with kind of the finalization of the album and the Christmas song tomorrow. I'm sure everyone will be extremely excited about that.
Yeah, I cannot wait. And I can't wait to see you in Ireland sometime.
Yeah,
All right.
100%.
Bye.
See you later. Bye.